Tonight from Baltimore, the red-hot Red Sox have the brooms in hand as they bid to sweep the Orioles in this 4-game series and make it 8 consecutive wins. The Sox have opened up a 5-game lead on the Toronto Blue Jays, who are idle tonight, and 6 over the Orioles. The magic number for the division is 6. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Camden Yards. Great to have you along. Dave O'Brien. My partner, of course, is Jerry Remy. Garen Austin joining us in just a couple of moments. And, Jerry, tonight, David Price going for his 17th win. He has won 7 in a row.
Yeah, he's looked really good. You know, a little bit of a shaky outing last time out, but overall, in that 7-0 stretch, he's been very, very impressive. And, you know, you think back as we look at the numbers, the fact that I think he was a little bit uncomfortable early in the season with the fact that he was changing new ball clubs, the big contract. It was like Porcello a year ago. Then he got a chance to settle in. Look what he's done. 204 batting average against in that stretch of the last 8 games, a 2.73 ERA, and of course the perfect record. Look at the numbers in September for him throughout his career: 23-7 with an ERA right at 3. And this is going to be a good matchup tonight. Tillman's always been very tough on the Red Sox, and David Price pitching very well right now. So the Red Sox would love to have Price pitch another gem tonight and sweep the Orioles right out of here.
Yep, and the Sox have been winning a lot of low-scoring games lately, including another one last night, 5-1. So they are closing in on a postseason position. Certainly, right now, the Red Sox could not be playing better baseball, looking to make it back-to-back 4-game sweeps over division rivals. Game 4 coming up from Baltimore. Toyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. The Massachusetts Highway Safety Division, be alert and slow down in work zones. Santander Bank, you're all right with Simply Right checking from Santander Bank. Bob's Discount Furniture, everybody saves at Bob's Discount Furniture, in store or at mybobs.com. And by Southwest Airlines, yes to low fares with nothing to hide, that's transparency. Game 4 coming up. Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Red Sox going for the sweep. David Price on the mound as we bring in Garen Austin from field level. Garen's starting pitching has really been driving this winning streak for the Red Sox.
Well, absolutely, Dave. You know, everything has really been clicking for the Red Sox, especially the starting pitching. And they'll hope that continues tonight with an effort from David Price, who is 7-0 with a 2.73 ERA in his last 8 starts. Here's John Farrell with more on David Price.
Yeah, we're looking forward to David continuing the way he's throwing the baseball for the better part of 2/3 of this year. He had his own personal 7-game or 7-start win streak snapped last time out, but I think this is obviously a very good test for him once again. And we're going up against Tillman, who's pitched extremely well for us. So everything on paper looks like this should be a low-run game, a pitcher's duel.
Certainly thinking that'll be the case. The Red Sox, by the way, have already won the season series against Baltimore 10-8 after last night's victory in Game 3. Here's a look at the Red Sox lineup now. Brought to you by BuyAToyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. Dustin Pedroia, Brock Holt, and Mookie Betts are 1-2-3 with David Ortiz, the designated hitter. Hanley Ramirez at first, back in there tonight. Travis Shaw, Jackie Bradley, Sandy Leon trying to bust out of an 0-for-17. And Andrew Benintendi in left field batting ninth against the Orioles starter. Presented by GMC, that is Chris Tillman, 16-6, 372 earned run average.
The Orioles defense is brought to you by DraftKings, and they are 3rd in the league with 74 errors on the season. Manny Machado will be at third base, J.J. Hardy the shortstop, Jonathan Scope at second, and Chris Davis the first baseman. Left to right, Drew Stubbs, Adam Jones, and Mark Trumbo. Caleb Joseph doing the catching for Tillman.
Tonight's umpires brought to you by ToyotaCertified.com. Mark Wegner has the balls and strikes. Timmons, Everett, and Baker on the bases. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your TV remote. SAP presented by ToyotaCertified.com. Search for your factory-backed Toyota Certified used vehicle right now.
Buenas noches, amigos.
Very, very pleasant night here in Baltimore. 81 degrees and clear. And set for the first pitch from Tillman. The 6'5" right-hander. He is the Orioles ace. And Pedroia testing him right away, hitting .322. And we're underway on strike one. Pedroia's hit him pretty well, .295 lifetime. And the 0-1. Fly to center field, right at Jones. One man gone.
They're talking about Tillman, Dave, and he spent some time on the disabled. Had some shoulder bursitis that kept him on the DL. You see the breakdown of his pitches, the fastball, curveball, and changeup. But he has always been very good against the Red Sox. In his career, 10-3 with a 2.74 ERA.
Brock Holt has returned to the ball club, .258 with 7 home runs. He'd missed a couple of games due to a death in the family. And in there at shortstop tonight is Bogaerts has the evening off, and that's across for a strike.
John Farrell said that you got Holt in there who swings the bat very well against Tillman, and Bogaerts could use a day off at this stage of the season. So tonight's the night.
The 0-1. Rattle foul. Yeah, he's 6 for 11 off Tillman. So Brock appears to see their race pretty darn well. Tillman's been their stopper all season with the exception of that stint on the DL that Jerry was talking about. And bursitis in the shoulder, the same condition that has taken out Stephen Wright.
Tillman right there, not overpowering with the fastball. The last one at 89, but up in the zone and foul back by Brock Holt.
Brock tonight playing as shortstop for the 4th time this season. Mookie Betts on deck. Mookie hitting 3rd. That one just missed according to Wegner.
Yeah, looked like a pretty good pitch right there. I think Brock Holt very fortunate to still be at the plate right now. Fastball down and in, inside corner, about knee high.
And Tillman with a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox with a season high 7-game winning streak at a perfect time. all against division rivals, opening up a 5-game lead with 10 to go. Toronto has tonight off, by the way, the 2-2. And that misses away to fill up the count.
A two-seam fastball that time running away from Brock Holt. So Holt making him throw a lot of pitches in this at bat.
Tillman out of Anaheim, California, delivers the 3-2. Punch foul. Talk about his winning streak of 7 in a row. 6 of them have been by 3 runs or less. I think more than that, the Sox have come back over and over on this winning streak. Brock Holt was talking about the Hanley Ramirez walk-off home run at Fenway as being one of the great moments, obviously, of the season, but huge in this streak. Come back and win a game like that against the Yankees.
That certainly did set the tone for a lot of good things to follow.
Is enjoying a long first at bat here tonight against Tillman. 3-2 again to the second baseman, Scope, and throws to get him, and Holt went tumbling after racing hard to first base. Really beat it up that line and then took a spill.
That play was a little bit closer than I think Scope anticipated it to be. And there you see the right foot catch the front of the bag for Brock Holt. He goes tumbling down, but he's okay. After a very long at bat, finally got him on a changeup.
Mookie Betts now stepping up there, 318, 31 homers, 108 runs batted in for the MVP candidate, and an 8-game hitting streak. In there for a strike. I think someone from the Oriole front office will personally escort Mookie to the team bus tonight to make sure he leaves town.
Well, he's leaving because we're not going to leave without him, that's for sure.
So one last shot at Camden Yards tonight, where he has been unbelievable, at least for the regular season. Trying to add to the 8 home runs he has hit here this year, 9 overall against Baltimore. Ortiz on deck. The 1-strike pitch.
Oh, we've already seen the mix of pitches from Tillman. The fastball, the two-seam fastball, the slide of that last pitch. He's got a curveball and a changeup. He wants that fastball down and in and sinking.
Too far down. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jerry, you talked about how tough he's been on the Red Sox, 10-3. I've seen him once this season. It was back in June. Very good in that one. 7 innings, 5 hits. Struck out 7. And got the win. Here's the 1-2 to Mookie. Not one of Mookie's favorite opponents. He's 2 for 11 against Chris Tillman. They're trying to reach here with 2 down in the first inning. And the 2-2. Up the middle and through for a base hit. He keeps on swinging it here against the Orioles. Well, frankly, against everybody. And on again.
That quickly makes it a 9-game hitting streak now for Betts. Tries to go outside, as you can see right there with that fastball. Actually, a changeup, 84 miles an hour. And Betts able to pull that ball right by J.J. Hardy, who's got a lot of range at shortstop.
25 stolen bases for Mookie. David Ortiz now 318, 36 homers, 121 runs batted in. Honored in a pregame ceremony by the Orioles. And presented with a $10,000 check as well for his foundation. That is in there for a called strike.
He's had trouble in his career against Tillman. Only a 194 batting average. Does have 1 home run against Tillman.
He has hit 2 home runs in this series. In tight for ball. We've talked all season long about Mookie against the Orioles, justifiably, but David has hit 8 home runs against Baltimore this season. That's the most he's ever hit against them in one season. That's in there for a called strike. 1-2.
A tough spot right there for that pitch. A high fastball in the strike zone, but elevated inside against Ortiz. That's a very difficult pitch for David to get to. Just takes it. Thought it was too high, but actually a very good pitch.
One-two coming. He buried it and stopped by Joseph. Not Wieters tonight. Caleb Joseph has the catch for Tillman. 2 balls and 2 strikes. See what Dunkin' Donuts did for David. A portrait of David Ortiz made out of 10,000 donuts. I don't know what you do with them now, but it's impressive. 2-2. Left it high.
Well, if they stay fresh, when he retires, he can eat all 10,000 of them. Nobody will care.
Forever.
Exactly.
So full count and 2 down, and Betts will be off to the races at first base. Tillman, a very deliberate worker. And taking a sign from Joseph. Mookie takes off. There's a bullet, but foul. And did that get into the seats in a hurry?
Yeah, that's the same spot he went earlier in the bat. Remember, David took the high fastball up and in. This time with 2 strikes, he has to go after it and is out in front of it and pulls it foul. And that's just about the same location as he saw early in the at bat.
Betts to take off again. The 3-2, there he goes. And he walks him. Pretty darn good at bat there by Big Papi. First and second now for Hanley Ramirez.
And tried to put him away on a backdoor slider that time, but it did not get to the corner of the plate. And Hanley Ramirez, who had last night off, back in there tonight with a chance to do some damage early in the game.
Fans, be sure to stop by Plain Ridge Park Casino. Plain Ridge Park Casino is the official sponsor of winning. Hanley, 292, 28 homers, 107 RBIs. That's a new career high for the first baseman. He's got Mookie at second and David at first. Opportunity knocking here against Tillman. You don't get many chances against this guy. That'll be strike 1. Hanley sitting out last night with a sore left shoulder, also a sore foot. John Farrell's been picking his spots to give some of his regulars a day off. David Ortiz, Dustin Pedroia, Hanley Ramirez, and still winning. One ball and 1 strike. Hanley has been locked in with 8 home runs in his last 13 games. And Tillman from the set. Here's the 1-1. He fires in a strike at 92.
The next hit that Hanley gets against Tillman will be his first. He's 0 for 6 in his career against Tillman, and down in the count now, 1-2.
Shaw next, if the inning is still alive and kicking. Betts and Ortiz get their leads with 2 down. Here comes the 1-2. Fouled away. Off to the right by Hanley as he hangs in there.
The velocity has picked up a little bit too for Tillman. 93. Started the game off at 89 and trying to get that fastball by Ramirez there late on it. Defensive swing with the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Game number 4 here in Baltimore. Red Sox have been here a while. It is on to Tampa Bay later tonight. Here comes the 1-2 home. Way too high. Tillman 3 years ago won 16 games. He has equaled that, his career high this year. His stats almost identical. 16-7 back in 13. He's 16-6 this year. The earned run average is almost precisely the same. He has established himself as one of the better right-handers in the American League. 2-2. High fly ball down the left field line toward the corner. On the move, Stubbs, and he's going to run out of real estate. So they'll do it again on 2-2.
Pretty good job by Ramirez too. That was a changeup. Tillman was shaking off a lot of signs and finally got the one he wanted to change up, and Hanley just getting a piece of it, hitting it foul. Out of discussion between Joseph and Tillman. There's the off-speed pitch. And right toward the end of the bat, but hit foul by Ramirez. Long discussion about what they want to throw Hanley in this situation.
Well, Tillman got the first two men, Pedroia and Holt, rather quickly, but then Mookie Betts with the base hit up the middle. Ortiz with a lengthy at bat, worked a walk. Hanley trying to pick up his 108th RBI. 2-2 coming. And a ground ball up the middle. That's going to sweep through for a base hit. Betts coming around. He will score easily. No throw to the plate, and the Red Sox have the lead 1-0. Hanley coming through again with his 108th RBI.
That's a good job by Ramirez. You know, he fouls off the changeup. Tillman comes back after a long discussion with the slider. Now, he wanted that ball away. It was out over the plate, and Ramirez is able to handle it with the ground ball up the middle. And with Betts' speed at second base, no problem for him to score. Red Sox jump out in front.
Jerry, we talk so much about his home runs, but he's had a lot of at-bats over the last couple of months where he doesn't try and hit a home run.
Right.
He just does enough to bring in the run.
You know, I think, Dave, that's been the case with him all season long.
Now Travis Shaw trying to keep it rolling, first and second. Goes after the first pitch, which he likes a lot, pops a foul on a play. So Hanley, since the All-Star break, has 60 RBIs, most in the majors. Really had an outstanding second half in particular. Ortiz went to second on the base hit. 1 ball and 1 strike on Travis.
I don't know, to me, Dave, I don't know how you feel about it, but Tillman doesn't look like he has the same stuff that we've seen in the past. You wonder about the condition of the shoulder.
I agree. Not a lot of zip, not a lot of velocity. 3 consecutive Red Sox have now reached against him. The 1-1. A ball, 2 strikes on Travis Shaw.
And once again, they try to elevate on Shaw with the fastball, get up there above the belt. That is the book on Travis.
Typically a good spot for him with 2 down and men in scoring position. Ortiz and Ramirez aboard. And a run home. 1-2. Fouled back.
There's that high fastball again. That time a little bit out of the strike zone, but too close to take when you have 2 strikes. Here's the last pitch. It's going to be upstairs again and away from Shaw. He just gets a piece of it to see another pitch.
One-two again, and down he goes, strike 3. But that was 35 pitches for Tillman. The Red Sox get him for a run, and here comes Price. Oakland Chevy dealers, it'll be Adam Jones leading it off. Chris Davis, Manny Machado, Mark Trumbo with 102 RBIs. Trey Mancini just got his first major league hit. It was a home run the other night here. Scope, Hardy, Stubbs, and Joseph up against the left-hander, the Red Sox starter, presented by New England Audi dealers. David Price, 16-8, a 3.91 earned run average. Had no decision in his last start against the Yankees. So he carries a personal 7-game winning streak into Baltimore here tonight as the Sox go for the sweep. And on top 1-0.
It's the 5th time this year that David Price has faced the Baltimore Orioles. 2-1 with a 3.67 in the 4 previous starts.
The 0-1 hit hard but foul. Jones with a lot of at-bats against Price, 59 of them. 15 for 59, 254. Orioles coming in with a 1-game lead for the second wild card spot over Detroit and Houston. So as of right now, they are still in, but they have been fading. Popped up right around the mound. Price now called off by Shaw, who will make the play on top of the hill, where they always get the pitcher right out of there.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and they are 4th in the league with 74 errors on the season. Travis Shaw will be at third base. Brock Holt, the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second, and Hanley Ramirez, the first baseman. Left to right, Andrew Benintendi, Jackie Bradley Jr. and Mookie Betts, and Sandy Leone doing the catching for David Price.
Price gets his first man. Now Davis at 220. 38 home runs. And committed a huge 2-run error on his throw to the first base with the pitcher covering last night. That changed the entire ball game.
Yeah, you could see it was like a deflated group, after the Orioles were after that mistake, because they had the lead in the ball game, and of course Benintendi comes up and hit the home run after the error. That was the end of the game, really.
1 ball and 1 strike. Another look. It was an ugly play.
Yeah, it was. Kind of a sidearm throw and an absolute bullet. It's a very difficult ball for the pitcher to handle, getting over to cover first base. That really changed the complexion of the whole game.
See how upset that Brock was, and then he gave up that shot to Benintendi. Left one really up in the hitting area. High fly down the left field line. Benintendi moving. Still on the move, and foul ground. He runs it down. Nice play. 2 down.
We're back to last night, and we take a look at the home run. And the fastball went down to about 94 miles an hour. Had it been up as high as 97, but that came right after the error. And that really was the game for the Red Sox right there. It was over after that.
The talk shows were really in Baltimore questioning the mental toughness of the Orioles to fall apart like that after the 1 error. As Brock made a really bad pitch, although Benintendi put a spectacular swing on it. He's got a gorgeous swing. 2 down from Machado, 298, 36 homers, 93 RBIs. He's had a really quiet series as he looks at a strike.
Yeah, surprised to see him at 0 for 11.
Right, about to say, I mean, this is a really good young hitter, but he's done no damage, at least not yet, in this series. And the 0-1. Up the middle and through for a base hit. So his first hit of the contest and of this series.
Now just a matter of time for Machado. Talking about him, he's just too good of a hitter to completely shut him down throughout a series. He gets the changeup right here away, and he's able to pull that ball, actually hook the ball up the middle for the base hit. So it keeps Price away from the 1-2-3 inning. David a little upset with himself that he couldn't snag that on the glove side.
Here's Trumbo, 248, 43 home runs and 102 runs batted in. He had a really fine year. He has 2 career home runs against Price. Red Sox ahead 1-0 here in the bottom half of the first inning. You know, before the base hit by Machado, combination of Davis, Machado, and Trumbo had been 3 for 33 in this series. That's a giant factor in the Red Sox winning the first 3. Really shutting those 3 excellent hitters down. Very dangerous hitters with all that power. Little dribbler who's going to take it. Ramirez gets it to him. Price there in time to make the play at first. Little indecision, but in the end they get the out. Still 1-0 Red Sox. Baltimore, Dave O'Brien, Jerry Remy, Garen Austin with you from Camden Yards. Red Sox in the lead 1-0. And Jackie Bradley, the batter, 275, 26 homers, 87 RBIs for Jackie. First trip tonight. And then Sandy Leon and Andrew Benintendi. So 7, 8, 9 against Tillman. Right through there for a called strike. Just as Mookie Betts and David Ortiz, Rick Porcello, Dustin Pedroia have all blown away their stats from last year, so has Jackie Bradley, without question. Remember, Jackie spent half of last year at AAA, wound up hitting 10 major league home runs with 43 RBIs. Look what he's done this year. 26 and 87.
Yeah, outside chance to be a 3,100 guy.
Hits that one to right field, down into the corner. That'll drop in fair and bounce up against the sidewall. He wants third base. He's taken off, and he's going to get there. The throw, not in time. Jackie very, very aggressive, rounding second base, and gets down to third with nobody out.
Well, what happened is there's a little corner out there at the 318, and it kind of disappears the baseball. And once Jackie saw that, that's when he decided to take off for third base. He gets a changeup. He hooks it. Now watch the ball disappear into the corner. And Trumbo has to chase it down. When Bradley reads that, that's when he knows he's got a chance to get 3. He can see it right there on his own. He's taking a peek back. He didn't even need Butterfield to wave him on.
Triple number 7. Now Sandy Leon with the infield in for the Orioles. Indication of how tough they think Price is going to be. Red Sox leading 1-0. Sandy in a slump right now, looking to bust out. And he does with a base hit to right field. Jackie Bradley in to score it. 2-0 Sox. That has to feel awfully sweet for Sandy.
Sandy Leon was out here this afternoon about 2:30 taking extra batting practice, and you know that's when it really pays off. When you get into the game and you first at bat, you pick up a base hit. He gets that fastball on the first pitch and hits a hard line drive to right field to drive in Bradley.
Busting out of an 0 for 17 with that sharp single. Benintendi now at 317, hit his second major league home run last night. And he spanked it. Andrew now the 6-game hitting streak. 2-0 Boston. Red Sox going for an 8th consecutive victory.
Tillman trying to turn those first 2 fastballs over to get a ground ball and try to get 2 quick outs, but missing with both outside.
Benintendi's 3-run homer last night really seemed to suck the life out of the Orioles. Fouls that one away, back into the netting. Pedroia on deck. John Frau was talking about today wanting to get Benintendi some time in center field within the next week. Play him a game or 2 out there. Maybe rest Jackie Bradley. John's been able to rest key players in recent days, and it's really paid off. 2-1.
Yeah, I was talking to John about that this afternoon. You know, he's had the advantage because of the way the Red Sox have been playing, where if a guy gets a little bit banged up, he can afford to give him the time off because everybody else is playing so well. So Hanley have last night off. We saw Dustin have a night off.
Leon at first base, nobody out, a run in, and a 2-2. And Benintendi with a cut and a miss for strike 3 and a 91-mile-an-hour fastball.
And keeping the ball away from Benintendi in that at bat.
So 1 gone. Pedroia the batter, 0 for 1 with a fly to center. Dustin returning to the lineup after a night off to rest his knee. Came back to the lineup last night. Holt on deck. And strike 1. Now the next time Dustin scores, it'll be his 100th run for the 4th time in his career. Teams love their leadoff men to be over 100 runs. You're a successful offense if that happens. High fly, right field, fairly well hit, but Trumbo on the back pedal, and he'll make the play. That had some carry on it. Back to first base goes Leon. And there are 2 down. Watch the drive to the pennant with MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD and over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. Here's Brock Holt for the 2nd time. He is grounded to second base. 0 for 1. Brock against Tillman, a .500 hitter. Xander Bogaerts 2 for 20 against him, so another good reason to give Xander the night off. With Brock playing the shortstop position, here comes the 1-0. That's a strike.
And again, that fastball hovering around 90 miles an hour for Tillman. We generally see him throw harder than that. Not that velocity is everything, but certainly I think it's down a little bit here tonight.
Xander relaxing tonight. That bounces up there, stopped by Joseph. So Leon could not advance.
Tried to snap off the curveball that time, but Caleb Joseph makes a nice play by blocking that ball and keeps Leon out of scoring position.
Red Sox trying to win all 4 games at Camden Yards. Well, it's tough to sweep a 4-game series on the road. There's a line drive into center field for a base hit. Leon up to second base and stopping there. And Holt continues to get a very good look at Tillman.
Yeah, 1 for 2 tonight. As Dave mentioned, 5:45 coming into the game against Tillman. Takes that fastball, lines it to center field for the base hit. And you see that fastball that's right out over the plate. And right back up the middle goes Brock Holt. So it'll get Betts to the plate with a man in scoring position.
Well, the Red Sox in the first couple of innings giving themselves opportunities against one of the better right-handers in the American League. Betts with a base hit first time up and scored a run. He's homered 8 times this season at Camden Yards. The last player to hit 9 home runs in a visiting ballpark in one season was a fellow by the name of Willie Mays in 1955 at Ebbets Field. A called strike.
That's pretty good company.
He's keeping really good company, isn't he? In every phase of the game. He's being talked about right now as the lead candidate for MVP. Altuve's getting a lot of support. Trout as well. But reading the various columnists around the U.S. who are writing about this topic, he seems to be the man to beat right now. I think the Orioles would concur, given what he's done against them. The 2-1. 3 balls and 1 strike. Time now for a Dunkin' Donuts poll question. Will a Red Sox player win the American League MVP award this season? Text 1 for yes, 2 for no. Text your answer to 536-536. Message and data rates may apply. 1 message per vote. The 3-1. And he walks it. And the bases are going to be all loaded up for David Ortiz. And Jerry, you were on this in the very first inning as Wallace comes out. Tillman isn't Tillman tonight.
No, he's not. You could tell in the first inning. I mean, when you check velocity first of all, and the velocity is certainly down for him. The difference between his fastball and changeup, it's not a great difference. I mean, we've seen fastballs at 89, the changeup at 84. I mean, it just doesn't look right.
So they get Vance Worley up in their bullpen real early. When you're talking about a 16-game winner, here it is in the second inning. And the Wolf is at the door. David Ortiz drew a walk in the first inning.
Also, you know, a guy that has had his way with the Boston Red Sox over the years, and including this year.
David with 121 runs batted in, his highest RBI total since 2006. And now a man at every base. Red Sox up 2-0. He looks at a strike. At the bottom of the zone, but he doesn't like the call from Mark Wegner, and he lets him know it. David thought it missed. Down.
Now, according to our pit zone, it did look like it did get the bottom of the strike zone. It's a curveball, as you can see. And you know, when a hitter turns back and he looks at the catcher's glove, it always looks like it's lower than where the pitch went across the plate.
Tillman in a bind. Skips it up there and deflected by Joseph. Leon back to third. Brock Holt at second. Mookie Betts at first. A ball and a strike on David. And Tillman home with a 1-1.
Again, he's trying to work that fastball upstairs to David Ortiz, inside outside. After starting him off with that low breaking ball, goes upstairs with a couple of fastballs.
2 balls and 1 strike. Now 3-1.
85 that time, and that was a changeup.
He has already thrown 60 pitches.
Yeah, Red Sox got a great opportunity to clean this one out early tonight.
Next RBI for David gives him the record for a player in the last season of his career. He'll pass Shoeless Joe Jackson. Oh, he went for it. He went for the warehouse with that swing.
He's sitting on a fastball. Instead, he gets a slider on the 3-1 count. Which he's all cranked up.
Well, if he had connected on this, that's 450. 3-2. 2 down, bases are loaded. Tillman with the payoff pitch. Runners go, and it's hammered foul. It is usually the case for David Ortiz this time of year. He is at his best, and this month he's hitting .357 with 19 RBIs in 17 September games. Here comes the 3-2 again from Tillman. And he walked him. Ball 4. Here comes another run. Sandy Leon in to score, and Showalter is already out of his dugout. And here he comes to get Tillman. David Ortiz picks up his 122nd RBI as he takes ball 4. The Red Sox now leading 3-0. Tillman, a very, very quick exit tonight. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Kia. Worley coming in. Red Sox still have the bases loaded, and we'll be back with more in a moment. Already out of the game. Tillman's pitching line is brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. An inning and 2/3, 3 walks. He is responsible for 3 men on base right now. And Worley coming out of their bullpen. There are 2 down, but Hanley Ramirez is the batter. And Hanley looks at a strike. His stats are brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. 35th appearance, a 3.56 earned run average. And he already has an RBI single tonight. And the 0-1. He would not chase it. all filled up for the Red Sox. They can really make a mess of this thing right now for Baltimore. The 1-1. Little pop up. Here's Davis near the bag to put it away. The Red Sox score a couple of more runs, however, and now have a 3-0 lead early here in the second inning. As Tillman gets knocked out early. Tonight's suits are designed by Joseph Abboud, custom made in the USA of fine Italian fabrics, available at Men's Warehouse. Red Sox ahead 3-0 behind Price, who's trying to win his 8th consecutive decision. And the Sox are trying to win their 8th in a row with back-to-back 4-game sweeps of the Yankees and the Orioles. Here's Trey Mancini. He's the DH, 250 with a homer and an RBI. Just made his major league debut a couple of nights ago right here and slammed a home run for his first big league hit. Very upright stance. You like the potential of this kid offensively, don't you?
Well, I just seen a couple of at-bats. It looks like he's got a nice swing. You know, we'll have to obviously see him over a longer period of time. Orioles very high on him. He crushed the ball the other night for that home run. That was a long one.
His mom was here to see it. She got the baseball and reacted like a gift on Christmas morning. I'm sure it felt exactly the same way. That was a tremendous moment for the whole Mancini family. Here's the 0-2 from Price. Slicer foul, back out of play. Mancini's been a very good minor league hitter. He was selected as the 2015 Brooks Robinson Minor League Player of the Year for them, and he won the Eastern League batting title. He hit .330. Scope on deck. Sox up by 3. And the 0-2. Toward the middle. Holt there from behind the bag. Guns and gets it. One man gone. This greater coverage of baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. Price's American League ranks entering tonight. He's number 1 in starts, 4th in wins, 2nd in innings, number 5 in strikeouts. He has 7 10 or more strikeout games. That is the most in the American League. Rocky start for him. He's really recovered in the second half and has been outstanding. His last start was a little rough, of course, the 5 runs against the Yankees, but he had no decision. The Red Sox came back to win that one.
Yeah, we kind of talked, Dave, earlier about, you know, it was almost like Porcello last year, except Price started to come around a little sooner than Rick did. You know, that first year with a new club, big contract, new teammates, new environment.
And let's face it, the intense spotlight of Boston.
Exactly. And, you know, I think guys struggle with that at the beginning, you know, whether they want to admit it or not. And until they settle in, and, you know, when you got talent like Price, like Porcello, you're eventually going to do well. And it just takes some time.
0-2 on the way. Swatted at, fouled. By the way, Rick Porcello is very close to taking over the American League ERA lead. Right now his is at 3.08. Tanaka's is 3.07. Rick also top 5 in innings pitched. Pretty good argument for him as the Cy Young. Couple of major awards have Red Sox front and center potentially. Here comes the 0-2 now to Scope. And a fly ball to center. Yankees started back now in for the catch, and they're 2 down. We're talking about Saturday for Price. That was a hard day for him. He learned 4 hours before that start against the Yankees that a former roommate and very close friend of his had died from complications related to a brain tumor. David had honored his friend 5 years ago on the day of his first surgery with a victory over the Red Sox. Saturday was a very tough day for him.
See the TW on the side of the hat for David Price.
Is J.J. Hardy as he looks at a strike. 274, 9 home runs and 46 runs batted in. He's gone 2 for 9 in the series. Red Sox in the lead 3-0. Ripped and a base hit past the outstretched glove of Shaw. That'll be the second hit tonight for the Orioles. Capital One Frozen Fenway returns to Boston in January of 2017. Fans can enjoy 2 exciting outdoor Hockey East doubleheaders on January 7th and 14th. Tickets on sale right now. Visit redsox.com/frozenfenway for more information. So the Orioles with a base runner, 2 down. Drew Stubbs the hitter. At just 188. He's one of the few guys, if he gets on base for the Orioles, he'll run. But they really have no team speed outside of him and probably Bourne.
And one of the reasons he's in the lineup tonight, 364 against Price in his career.
Hardy with the short lead and 2 down. Inside for ball.
And this offense for the Orioles, not tough to figure out. I mean, it's, when you go over them in meetings, it's keep them in the ballpark. If you keep them in the ballpark, you get a chance to beat them.
.238 home runs. They have 6 guys who have 20 or more. Line to right, and that's going to be a foul ball off the chalk line. Stubbs trying to drop one in to right field, but he'll have to come on back, and Hardy back to first base.
Boy, that must have tailed right at the last minute, because it looked to me like it was going to be a fair ball inside the white line on the fair territory side, but a little bit of a hook right at the end puts it in foul territory. It started out, I thought it was going to be a fair ball, but just a few inches foul.
Red Sox 3 and the Orioles nothing in the second. Tillman already out of the ball game. Just didn't have it tonight. Really have to wonder about that bursitis in the shoulder, if that is flaring up on him again. He is not the same guy who faced the Red Sox earlier in the summer, and that they've seen be so good against them in the past. That's in tight, and the count moves to 2-2.
And that was pretty obvious in the first inning with Tillman. It just looked like he couldn't get loose and had no zip on the fastball at all. And I give him credit for going out there and giving it a shot in a pennant race, but Not the same guy.
Price looking for the strikeout of Stubbs and leaves it downstairs. He's gone to 3-2. Price has 217 Ks. He's only 8 shy of tying the Sox single season record from a left-hander, John Lester, in 09 and 2010. And Stubbs will get time. Caleb Joseph is on deck, the catcher. He has not driven in a run all season long. His last RBI came last September. Just having a horrible time of it. 3-2. And he missed away. That'll be ball 4. So Joseph will get his chance. Now put runners at first and second.
Yeah, there are some guys, you know, and one of those guys for David Price is Stubbs. The average is working very carefully to him. Finally throws one away for ball 4, and tying run coming to the plate.
So Joseph has been up 126 times without an RBI. He has a good sense of humor about most things, including this. But he has a chance now. Runners at first and second and 2 down. And Price fires right through it on a swing and a miss. When the Orioles played a game here with no fans during the Freddie Gray riots, Joseph stopped by the empty stands and he signed phantom autographs for about 5 minutes. So has a good sense of humor. He blames other guys. He says Ryan Flaherty, for example, he just doesn't get on base enough for me to drive him in. Flaherty not in this game tonight. 0-1, and he taps that one foul and quickly in the hole. 0-2.
I guess it does help to have a sense of humor when you have no home runs and no RBIs on the season. You better have one.
Better laugh. But eventually he's bound to drive in a run. Price hoping it's not right at this moment. First and second with 2 down. Left-hander looking for his first strikeout tonight. And the 0-2 pitch. Ground ball to short. Charged by Holt. Brock has it. Throws and gets him. No RBI there for Joseph. And Price gets out of that. Still 3-0 Red Sox. Is brought to you by your New England Audi dealers, Plain Ridge Park Casino, the official sponsor of winning, and by Subaru Retailers of New England. Camden Yards, Baltimore. Red Sox in front 3-0 as we move on to the third inning. Red Sox trying to make it 8 straight wins. This 7-game streak is a season high. Travis Shaw is 0 for 1. He struck out first inning. Jackie Bradley, who tripled, is up next, and then Sandy Leon, who singled. Red Sox heading on to face the Rays in St. Petersburg over the weekend. That pitching matchup has Drew Pomerantz going on Friday. It's a big start for him. Rick Porcello going on Saturday, looking for his 22nd win. And Eduardo Rodriguez on Sunday at 110. Broken bat, little looper there, foul off third. And the Red Sox will have a day off. And then open up a series in the Bronx. They've already won the season series against the Yankees 11-5. And they've won the season series from these Orioles already. Here comes the 1-2. And a ground ball to that right side, but that'll be a routine play for out number 1. Red Sox continuing to play their best baseball of the season.
Yeah, you know, and when you're playing good, things like this happen. You jump out in front. You know, you get out in front very early, and you got Price on the mound tonight. The thing is, when you're facing the Baltimore Orioles, regardless of how they're going, you got to keep the pedal to the metal because, you know, they have that long ball ability, and they can get back into a game very quickly. So, you know, many runs you can get early in the game, the better off you're going to be.
Jackie Bradley is one of those, a triple, and was driven in by Sandy Leon. We were talking about it when the play happened in the first inning where there was a little bit of miscommunication for just a second between Price and Hanley Ramirez. You know, maybe a couple of months ago the Red Sox don't get an out on that play, but they do now. It worked out beautifully in the end. Well,
you know, and the other thing too is that Price is really a good athlete, and he made an incredible adjustment on that play to be able to go from going for the baseball to go to first base, barehand the ball, and get the out. I mean, that was a very athletic play. As we'll take a look at it right here. Now, Price thinks he's going to go for the ball, makes the adjustment, barehands it, and tags the bag. That's not easy to do.
Looked like a broken field runner. A little jam shot here, dribbler to the pitcher. Jackie Bradley retired. He's now 1 for 2. And 2 down for the Sox in the third. DraftKings is the official one-day fantasy baseball partner of the Boston Red Sox. Experience the thrill of playing on DraftKings right now. Play free daily using the promo code NESSN at DraftKings.com. Sandy Leon busting out of a little skid, an 0 for 17 slump with an RBI single and scored a run in the second. And the Red Sox got to Chris Tillman and forced him out of the game after an inning and 2/3. Sandy batting lefty. Benintendi on deck. 2-0. It's that great time of September when you can start throwing around phrases like the magic number is. And for the Red Sox, it is 6. You know who loves the magic number talk? TC.
TC's got it down to a science. I mean, he comes on that post-game show and he's got it right away, immediately.
Yeah, right after every Red Sox win, he's whittling it down, and that'll be in there for a called strike. Guys having a lot of fun on the post-game shows with the Red Sox rolling like this. That magic number of 6, by the way, is to clinch the American League East, not to make the postseason. That's going to be ball 4. So Sandy on for the second time. He'll take the walk. Benintendi next. Red Sox with a 14-5 record here in the month of September. That is the best in baseball. Andrew 0 for 1. He struck out in the second inning. Red Sox ahead 3-0. Checked the swing, made contact there, and fouled it away for strike one.
At first at bat, they basically kept the ball away from Benintendi. That time they did come in with the fastball and a little check swing.
Down to the dirt. It scoots away from Joseph, and Leon will advance. He is into second base on the wild pitch.
Exactly what the Red Sox want right there. 2 outs in the inning and get a man in a scoring position. Leon not a threat to score from first base, but certainly is now in scoring position at second base. A breaking ball in the dirt, and an easy one to read if you're the runner at first, because it's breaking toward first base. You can tell how far it is away from the catcher.
Worley with a 1-1 and a slicer in the air, foul out of play. Well, it's been spots like this in recent weeks. The Red Sox have really taken advantage routinely after a mistake like that to get a man down to second with 2 down. They've been thriving. 2-2. Pedroia next. Petey so far tonight 0 for 2. Leon is second, and a high fly into left field. Stubbs to the line to make the catch. In fair territory, that retires the side. 1 man left, still 3-0 Boston. By Clean Crisp, Coors Light, best records in the American League coming into play tonight. Texas, and then the Indians and the Red Sox. And of course, home field advantage throughout the postseason goes to the team with the best record at the end of the regular season. Happy to be joined by Alex Spear of 108 Stitches and the Boston Globe, who joins us on a fairly routine and regular basis. Always great to see you.
Great to see you guys.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because I poked my head into John Farrell's office several hours before the game, and he was focusing on that best record very much and said, wouldn't that be an achievement for this ball club? The Red Sox can do that.
Well, first of all, it makes a lot of sense to keep setting standards for the Red Sox to try to go after, because they're showing an instinct to really try to pursue. They seem to like any challenges that are being thrust at them these days, but it's significant. We've seen it in the past with how important it was to them in 2013 to be able to come back home in that series against St. Louis and the series against Detroit and have home field advantage, especially in that first round of the postseason, where it can be really quite disruptive to have to go back and forth and have the workout days on the road. There's a lot to be said for the comfort of sleeping in one's own bed for that first round, especially, and the ballparks play a lot differently, especially against Cleveland. I think you see offensive ballparks across the board in the American League for all of the contenders except Cleveland, where it's a decided advantage for pitchers. And it's one where the Indians are well constructed for that park. The Red Sox are very well constructed for Fenway, obviously.
2-1 to Jones, hammered as he hooked it deep down the line, but foul. Adam Jones 0 for 1 tonight with a pop up to the third baseman.
That said, the Red Sox have been incredible on the road this year. I think it's. I suppose that the 2013 team really asserted itself late in the season on the road with that West Coast swing and then carrying forward in September, but this group's been amazing.
Well, that's, I mean, we were talking about, that for most of the first half. When you looked at the second half of the season, the road trips were just incredible for the Red Sox, but they have done an amazing job.
Pedroia grabs this one and throws on to first to get Jones. One man gone. You talk about winning on the road. The Red Sox, the previous two road trips, going 7-4 and 6-3. Remember, the last one was a West Coast swing, and the one before that was 4 cities, a highly difficult trip that they acquitted themselves quite well on.
Honestly, it's extraordinary. They had 19,000 miles to crisscross the country back and forth multiple times in that stretch. I mean, that's, you have the 2 West Coast swings over the course of the season. You rarely have them bunched together like that. There had never been a scheduled, in the era of expansion from 1961 on.
Pedroia off his glove as he went leaping up. Got a piece of leather. That'll be a base hit for Davis as he beats the shift.
Now back in the shift is Pedroia, and kind of a top spin line drive that he almost makes a great play on. There you see the ball start to come down. Pedroia goes up and right off the top of the glove. And that'd have made the shift look good if he makes that catch, wouldn't it? Playing that deep behind second base on the grass and right off the top of the glove.
There are moments in time when Dustin Pedroia might regret not being 5'9".
Yeah. Just another inch or two on that occasion. That'll send up Machado. He singled for his first hit of the series in the first inning. Red Sox in the lead 3-0 here in the last half of the third in Baltimore, and trying to do something pretty extraordinary. Sweep a really good ball club in their home building in 4 games and trying to make it back-to-back 4-game sweeps.
It's amazing. The last time that the Red Sox had a 7-game winning streak that was contained all against division opponents was in 2003. So you're looking at a really lengthy, expansive time between runs like this, and this has come. That one was against a kind of diverse array of opponents. It was against the Rays, who were at the time, they were in a completely separate part of the division. This has been against the foremost competition, and they have absolutely demolished the divisional hopes of 2 teams. I mean, the Yankees had a very clear opportunity to compete in the division because of all the head-to-head games they had. Well, not when they left Fenway last weekend.
Price with a 1-1 now to Machado, who has hit 36 home runs, and he fouls that one back. He goes down on a knee after a massive swing.
Yeah, fortunately for Price, he kept that fastball away from Machado that time. He gets the foul ball, and you can tell what Machado was trying to do and put 2 quick runs on the board with this swing. Actually lost his balance after making contact.
It was Beltre-like.
Down on one knee.
1-2.
Except with Adrian, it's posed.
Yes. I still miss him.
Oh, I think he was one of the most entertaining Red Sox players I've ever seen.
He was. Rangers just adore him. The 1-2. That's inside to even up the count on Machado. Chatting with Alex Spear of the Boston Globe. How about third base? Where are the Red Sox now at third base?
As we talked about Machado and Beltre, right? They're in an odd position for this time of year. John Farrell, talking about it before the game today, said there is playing time to be won at that position, and that no one has secured the role. They're still waiting for someone to really lay claim to it. The Red Sox production at third base has been the worst you can see on the screen, the lowest OPS of any team in the American League from third base. Travis Shaw has had some hot streaks, but really since that initial burst when he was wrestling the position back from Yoan Moncada, his production has really tailed off considerably. So it's a position where
the 2-2 he tried to hold up and did, and it's inside.
There's still opportunity. You know, Travis Shaw will see time there. Maybe Brock Holt, maybe Aaron Hill. But Farrell said that it's not going to be based strictly on platoons. He doesn't just want to say you have the job because you happen to be left-handed or right-handed. They'd like to see some production.
And is your expectation that we won't see much of Moncada at all the rest of the way?
Yeah, he's limited to strictly blowout situations at this point, I think.
3-2 coming. Line shot to center. That'll fall for a base hit. Davis up to second. Back-to-back singles here against Price by Baltimore.
Yeah, Machado starting to get hot again. We mentioned before his first at bat, 0 for his last 11, but 2 for 2 tonight against Price. That looked to be a cut fastball that time. That Price got down in the zone, but very good hitting by Machado. There you see the pitch. It is the cutter. It is down, but Machado right down there with it, actually below the knees.
That was the complete opposite of the swing where he's falling to his knee.
Yeah.
That's something that the Orioles do so rarely, and that's contributed to them being, I think, the worst offense in the American League in the second half, where they've just been striking out left and right. They hit homers, but don't do a lot of anything else. There, Machado decided to vary up that approach.
Well, on that home run topic, here's Trumbo. 43 of them, 102 runs batted in, 0 for 1 with a ground out. Price would love to get one right here. Ground ball right at somebody. And get 2 and get out of the inning. That's across for strike 1. The Orioles are going to be home over the weekend against Arizona. They still have an interleague series to play. But then they go on the road. They have a tough road to close it out. 3 at Toronto and 3 against the Yankees in the Bronx. 0-1, got a piece of it. 0-2 now on Trumbo.
Yeah, Alex, last night the performance by Buchholz, and he's talking about playoff baseball. And I'm a little superstitious. I don't like talking about it that much until it happens. But what do you see for a rotation right now?
I think that you typically opt for the guys who are most consistent. There can be some matchup considerations, righty versus lefty, but as you look at what Clay Buchholz has done in giving quality starts in 5 of his last 6, we know the kinds of runs that he goes on. You can look at it in any year of his Red Sox career, really, since 2010. There's been a run of between 10 and 20 starts where he's been absolutely dominant. And when he goes off the rails, he goes far off the rails.
0-2 will miss outside. Price still looking for his first strikeout.
So you're saying ride the hot hand.
It's not just the hot. If you believe that he has a chance to be consistent, and John Farrell talked after the game last night about how he believes that right now his delivery out of the stretch is in a place where he can execute with those 4 pitches on both sides of the strike zone. He spoke about him being in one of those places where he can sustain those runs. If you believe that, he's in.
1-2. He got it. He struck him out. First K in the book tonight in a big spot for the left-hander.
Yeah, very good cut fastball on time from Price. Keeps it down and in on Trumbo, staying away from his power, keeping that ball off the inside part of the plate. I couldn't tell if it looked like a changeup.
I think it was.
I think it was a changeup.
It came in at 86.
It had a little late movement on it, but it was a changeup.
Had the break of slider.
It looked like a cutter.
Yeah,
I thought it was a cutter, but no. We see clearly by the grip there, it was the circle change.
2 down. Here's the youngster Mancini, who is 0 for 1 with a ground ball to short. 3-0 Red Sox. 4 hits for Baltimore. The Sox have 5. And the rookie will take ball 1. Any doubt in your mind at game 1 the baseball goes to Porcello?
I think that it's still, insofar as Price is lined up for game 162, then that is not too difficult to kind of slot everyone back. For that would not be too difficult to slot him back. Although there's such a gap between game 162 and in that first game of the division series that maybe they stay on turn or maybe they would push it back. It's a very interesting question and one that could end up being matchup based.
If you can align it, hasn't he earned it?
He and Price are honestly neck and neck in terms of consistency. I realize that the wins total, there's a disparity in the wins total. They're essentially having the same season in my mind. The strikeout to walk rate is fantastic for both of them. The consistent innings log that you see in both of them is spectacular, with Price getting 8-inning outing after 8-inning outing, Porcello getting 7-inning outing after 7-inning outing. There's a reason why they both crossed that 200 innings plateau already. So I think that Porcello's clearly been the most valuable pitcher to the Red Sox this year. That said, I don't know that would necessarily carry the day in terms of the game 1 assignment. They have 2 worthy candidates, put it that way.
Only one of them can pitch, though, Alex. And there's a cut and a miss by Mancini. You know, the guy who the other night looked like Maddox to me, 89 pitches going all the way, I think he has the upper hand.
It was extraordinary to see his confidence in terms of how he's going about carving the strike zone is something else when he has 5 pitches working. It was interesting because he was missing at times in the middle of the plate. There were some poorly located pitches, but because he was executing with 5 pitches, it expanded the strike. It expanded his margin for error, even with some of those mislocated fastballs.
Leonel head on. I thought he did the same thing the other night that we saw Clay Buchholz do last night, really using the aggressiveness of the Orioles against them.
They're a team that can be exploited. If you have a good changeup against the Orioles, you can do some real damage against them because they are so clearly hunting for fastballs that they are just coming out of their shoes at times when you have a good changeup. And Porcello was very interesting the other night, though. I believe that might have been his first outing of the year where he threw more 4-seamers than 2-seamers. And you know, that ability to adapt his game, he's so confident in both of those pitches now that you don't necessarily know what to expect in any given count.
The 2-1. And that is on the corner, according to Wegner. Maybe a bit of a generous call, but it squares the count to 2-2.
Yeah, Price will certainly take that call right there because it looked like it was a little bit outside, but gets the strike call and runs that count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, staying on the Porcello thing for a second. He's in a mood right now where anything he throws, he can throw for a strike and has confidence in it. That's very rare for a pitcher to have going for him.
The 2-2. High fly ball, deep left field, way back it goes, and gone. Mancini, his second major league home run. They've both come in this series, and that ties up the ball game.
You know, the Orioles looking for some kind of spark to get things rolling again for them, and it takes Mancini to get him back tied in this ball game. I mean, 2 home runs in the series. It's a changeup that stays elevated that time, and a very nice job staying back by Mancini. Brand new ball game.
Tied up 3 apiece. He's going to get another curtain call. The Oriole fans want him again, which would be his second one in 3 days. Swinging a line shot down the left field line, but fouled by Scope.
I saw Mancini playing last year for their high A team in Frederick when he was being touted as the best player on a kind of lackluster prospect team. But they said, this is a guy who looks like he was unheralded. He's a guy from Massachusetts. And they said, you know, he knows how to play. He has a good feel for the game, a good sense of the strike zone. He has a chance to contribute down the road. He's contributing.
Yeah, he's looked very good in the minimum amount of bats he's had against the Red Sox. I mean, 2 home runs in this series and some line drive outs.
Scope 0 for 1. He is flied out to center. Ground ball to the third baseman Shaw. Will dig that, and he'll get him to retire the side. As Jerry said, a brand new ball game thanks to Mancini. Alex, always a treat. Thanks.
Good to see you guys. Thanks.
End of 3-3. Well, top of the fourth inning, we're starting over again, a 3-3 game as Dustin Pedroia gets in, and then it'll be Holt and Betts against Worley. David Price giving up the 3-run shot to Mancini. He fits right in with his Baltimore team.
Sure does. Price knew he made a bad pitch. Left that changeup up in the zone, and as soon as contact was made, he knew this game was tied up.
Pedroia, a fly to center, a fly to right. And the 1-1. Pedroia coming into tonight tied with the Hall of Famer Jim Rice on the Sox all-time doubles list at 7th place. 373 of them. Worley's 2-1. And he left that one downstairs. Red Sox have been very patient tonight. They certainly were with Tillman. They got 3 walks out of him in an inning and 2/3. The burly right-hander with a 3-1. Tried to hold up, but he committed on that. A swing and a miss to make it 3-2. Don't miss WB Mason extra innings live right after the game. TC, Tim Wakefield, Steve Lyons will break it all down. You'll hear from David Price and John Farrell. Whatever, whenever, wherever, who but WB Mason. 3-2. He does walk him, and it skips to the backstop. So Pedroia on as he takes ball 4. Let's go down to Guerin.
Well, there'll be a lot of empty seats this entire series, and Orioles manager Buck Showalter said, you know, we focus on what we can control, and that's going out there and trying to play good baseball. He said he's not necessarily surprised. He said people's time and money is being pulled in a lot of directions, and fans show their support in different ways, whether that's coming to the ballpark, listening on the radio, or watching on TV. He said they really appreciate their entire fan base, and, you know, they have the support, even though the seats aren't really very full. Guys.
All right, Karen, thank you. Brock Holt has grounded out and singled. Adam Jones was talking about all the empty seats here. He said it's eerie.
Yeah, I agree with Adam Jones on that. I think Buck was being politically correct in things that he was saying, but as a player.
Runner goes, ground ball to second. Schoop thought about second base, has to go to first. The Red Sox had Dustin Pedroia in motion. He's safely to second.
It looked like a hit and run play they had on that time. Pedroia very seldom does a straight out steal. The contact by Holt will keep the Red Sox out of the double play. There you see Pedroia taking off. He looks back. That tells you that the hit and run play was on, and Schoop had no play but to go to first base and get Holt. The Red Sox trying to recapture that lead very quickly here with now Pedroia in scoring position.
Mookie Betts is single in Milwaukee, has scored a run. We're tied up 3-3 in the fourth inning. David Ortiz on deck. Back to the attendance issue. They had 18,000 here on Monday night. At that point, they were just a handful of games out of first place.
That was the surprising thing to me. You know, I expected to come down here and see a, very close to full house just about every night. But I can understand after losing 3 in a row. But they were very much, it was obviously a big series for them. And I thought the crowds would be much bigger than what they've been.
Players don't want to blast the people who do come and criticize them, and Jones was careful not to. In fact, he thanked them.
But it is disappointing.
Yeah, it's got to be. And he reeled off a bunch of reasons that he had been told as to why fans were staying away. One of them was school's back in session. But clearly they're a little bit saddened by it because they have been in the hunt, often leading the division all summer long, and now into fall, and going to come home and have such small crowds in huge games, relatively speaking. And that's going to be ball 4. Mookie on base for the 3rd time. In honor of Big Papi's final season, we look back to 2 nights ago. That's the flyout. He gave the fan a missed it by this much sign. Next at bat was the top of the 7th, and David did not miss it. That shot deep to center and gone. Gives it right back to the fan. Walking back to the dugout. New England Honda dealers would like to say thank you, Papi. We salute your passion, your spirit, your drive to be a champion. He bats here with runners at first and second and 1 away. So far they have given David almost nothing to swing at tonight. He's walked twice. Last time the bases loaded.
Activity out in the bullpen too for the Orioles, just getting going right now, as Worley will have to deal with Ortiz. Tommy Hunter, the right-hander, loosening up.
1 man out, 2 on, and strike 1 on David. His next extra base hit will tie Lou Gehrig for 10th on the all-time list. Worley with a pair of walks in this inning. Here's the 0-1. Fouled away.
Get inside on David that time with a cut fastball. And a lot of those signs around Camden Yards here over the last 3 nights, 4 nights now.
This will be his last game here unless the Red Sox meet the Orioles in the postseason. Big swing and a miss, and down he goes. He strikes out, and there are 2 gone.
And got away with 1 there. That ball was supposed to be inside to Ortiz, and it leaked back over the middle of the plate. And it's one that David usually makes contact on. You can see where the catcher Joseph is set up, and look at the late movement on that fastball, moving away from Ortiz.
And Ramirez will try and salvage something in the inning. He has an RBI single, and he's popped up 1 for 2 tonight. A 3-3 tie in the 4th. Hanley has set a new career high for RBIs with 108, looking to add to it right now. Facing Vance Worley, been a little wild in the inning. Slice foul to make it 1-1.
That's another one Hanley like to have back. Another ball right down the heart of the plate.
A little bit late on it. Again, they wanted to be outside. It stays middle. Hanley fouls it off. Cut fastball that time at 88 miles an hour.
Swing and a ground ball toward third, but foul. Red Sox with good speed on the bases, and Pedroia and Betts. A's Ticket has playoff tickets on sale right now. Get your postseason tickets at no risk with full refund for any game not played. Visit aceticket.com for more details and to secure your Sox tickets right now for the postseason. Shaw on deck, 2 down, 2 on, and a timeout. Granted to Hanley. And Sox have already knocked the Orioles starter Tillman out of the ball game. That was in the second inning. So Buck Showalter needs a long performance from his bullpen tonight. 1-2. And that's in there, strike 3. Caught him looking. That'll retire the side. Red Sox strand 2. In the 1986 Red Sox, game number 153, the Red Sox would beat Toronto 2-0. Bruce Hurst went all the way for a complete game shutout. We will not have that tonight as we go to the last half of the 4th inning. It's a tie game, 3-3 in Baltimore. Red Sox getting out of town late tonight, trying to do so with a 4-game sweep on the first stop and an 8-game winning streak. They're right now all locked up. And a chopper foul off the bat of J.J. Hardy, who's 1 for 1 with a single. Hardy was raised in Arizona and was in the stands behind home plate in 2001 when the Diamondbacks won the World Series on that Luis Gonzalez famous single in Game 7. He was 19 years old. He had just completed his first season of professional baseball. 1-2. You remember the first baseman Sean Green?
Yes.
He was in the stands when Kirk Gibson hit the home run at Dodger Stadium off Eck. Big swing and a miss, strike 3, and he left before Gibson came up. He wanted to beat the traffic in L.A. He wasn't even in the ballpark.
Well, a lot of people do that in L.A., right?
They do.
They come late and they leave early.
Out of there. Missed an all-time great moment. Wasn't so great for Eck, but one of the great home runs in the history of baseball. Stubbs walked his first time in the second inning. Bit of an oddity tonight. Price only has 2 strikeouts.
Now, he has not found his comfort zone in this game yet.
Has not had a 1-2-3 inning yet. The 1-0 inside. Stubbs at 188, no home runs. And the 2-0. In for a called strike.
Price going to the cut fastball on the 2-0 count that time.
Red Sox pitching had been very, very tough against the Orioles coming into play tonight. Holding Baltimore to 5 runs in the first 3 games, but they have 3 tonight. The way the Orioles do it with the home run. He's fallen behind Stubbs here. 3 balls and a strike. And he walks him for the second time. The number 8 hitter on 2 occasions. Nesson is proud to present our second Big Papi special, the David Ortiz era, presented by Foxwoods Resort Casino on Wednesday. An in-depth look at how Big Papi went from being an unheralded free agent to becoming the face of a franchise. The David Ortiz era, immediately following the Red Sox-Yankees game on Wednesday on Nesson and Nesson National. Here's Joseph, 0 for 1 with a tapper to short. Tied up 3-3. He takes ball 1.
That's interesting. You watch a game like this and you just don't know what to expect when a game starts. You can predict as much as you want, but you had 2 guys going against each other tonight, Tillman and Price. We expected a low scoring game. Tillman's already out of the game. Price is struggling in this ball game.
And so many times when you look at the pitchers' duels, they don't go that way.
No, baseball is so unpredictable. I mean, you can see a guy 1 week and see him, 6-7 days later, and he's a totally different guy. So, I mean, on paper, yes. But the actual game hasn't been the case.
1 ball and 1 strike. Early in the season, when the Red Sox went to San Francisco, as Price against Bumgarner. And on paper, obviously, that looked like a terrific pitcher's duel. It turned out to be a very well-pitched game. Kind of what you expected. It's almost more rare when that happens, though. And has not been the case tonight. Fouled out of play, 1-2 on Caleb Joseph. Runner at first base and 1 down, each side with 5 hits. Red Sox have a triple from Jackie Bradley. And Baltimore has a home run from Trey Mancini, who has shown excellent power coming up from the minor leagues. The lefty with a 1-2. And that's going to be in there. He got him looking. He's going to argue a bit, because again, it may have been slightly off the corner, but Price got the call.
Yeah, that's a call right there that Price is very happy to get. It's a cut fastball that's going to be away, and I think a little bit of a gift for Price, but he needs one of those right now. Get him going in the right direction.
Lexus making a pledge to strikeout hunger for every strikeout by Red Sox pitcher this season. Lexus donates $50 to the Greater Boston Food Bank. I'd love another one of those right now with Adam Jones getting in. A pop up and a ground out. He's 0 for 2. Two men away. And a high fly ball into left, but it won't carry. Benintendi in. And a one-handed catch retires the side. Still tied up 3-3. On to the 5th inning in a 3-3 tie. Red Sox and the Orioles finishing up this 4-game series. Travis Shaw in the box. Red Sox could use a jolt and some electricity on the offensive end. They've been getting opportunities. Sox have left 8 men on base so far tonight. The Orioles 4. Travis has struck out and grounded out to second. And the shift on for him.
Now, Warley, I should say, has done a pretty good job keeping this game in check for the Orioles and giving them a chance to come back and tie the ball game up. Nothing flashy about what he's doing, but he's just getting outs.
3-0 pitch taking all the way, and that's in there for a called strike. On deck, Jackie Bradley, then Sandy Leon on the 3-1, and that's across for a strike. Red Sox have accepted 6 walks tonight, but none of the men who took ball 4 has come around to score yet in this game. Here comes the 3-2, and there's another walk. This one beginning the 5th inning in a tie game.
At some point, they've got to start making them pay for these walks.
Time to check out the results of our Dunkin' Donuts poll question. Will a Red Sox player win the MVP this season? Overwhelmingly, you say yes, 97%.
That might be the biggest wipeout we've seen all season.
I think it is. 97%. We said a Red Sox player. Mookie Betts, we've been talking about David Ortiz with the September that Poppy is having as a potential MVP candidate as well. The year he's had, but really closing beautifully.
Yeah, I would say 90% of those votes are going to Betts.
Yeah. Hunter getting ready again. This is the second time he's been up in their bullpen. Across for a strike. And quickly 0-2 on Jackie, who has tripled and grounded back to the pitcher. The All-Star with 26 home runs, and that's going to be in there for strike 3. Caught him looking.
You know, it's really strange. It's like the fastball from Worley is catching the Red Sox by surprise. We've seen it on a number of occasions. That's a good pitch. Jackie didn't like it. He thought it was inside, but that had plenty of the inside corner.
Worley struck out both Ortiz and Ramirez back-to-back in the 4th inning with a couple of men on. 2 men that he had walked. Just walked Shaw and then struck out Jackie Bradley. Here's Sandy Leon. Sandy with an RBI single. He's also taken ball 4. Sox are heading for Tampa Bay, taking on the Rays. Pomerantz against Archer in game 1 tomorrow night. Chris Archer has lost 18 games.
That's hard to believe with the stuff that he's got. Red Sox have had a fair amount of success against him.
Yeah, he's 8-18, but an ERA just over 4. That sneaks in there for a called strike. Rolls away from Joseph. No advance, though, by Shaw at first base. 1-2 the count. Porcello goes on Saturday, bidding for his 22nd win. And Rodriguez on Sunday afternoon, and then the Red Sox will be on the charter again and head for New York City. And the last series for David Ortiz at Yankee Stadium. Two balls, 2 strikes on Leon. Red Sox leading Toronto by 5. The best the Sox would be able to do tonight is gain half a game because the Blue Jays are idle. And that's going to be in there for strike 3. Back-to-back Ks again.
That's what I was talking about. There's the fastball again, and it's almost like the fastball is surprising the Red Sox hitters. It's not overpowering by any means. You can see the velocity, only 88 miles an hour, but the Red Sox have taken an awful lot of them.
Sox fans looking at the best seats to the biggest games. Check out the official Red Sox ticket resale marketplace at RedSoxReplay.com. Best place for season ticket holders to sell their tickets when they can't make it to the game. Benintendi now. He has struck out, flied out, 0 for 2. That's right between the catcher's legs all the way to the backstop. And Shaw is up to second base and stopping there.
Yeah, that's one you generally see blocked by the catcher because it is a curveball, and they usually expect that ball down in the dirt. And very seldom do you see a breaking ball go through the 5-hole. Just brings the glove up too soon, and right between the legs of the catcher and the umpire, and the Red Sox get a man in scoring position.
So Benintendi with a chance here with 2 down to put the Sox back in front. 2-0. Pedroia on deck. Here's the 2-0. He looks at a strike, back to his home run swing last night. Worley with a 2-1 ground ball and through the hole for a base hit. Here comes Shaw being waved in. Trumbo's throw is cut off and the run is in. Throw down to second base in time, but the run did score before the third out was rung up, and the Red Sox are back in front as Benintendi singles to make it 4-3.
And Benintendi, you know, a big base hit for him, and it looks like a base running mistake, but it's not. What you want to do is you want to have the first baseman cut this ball off. He thought it was going to be a close play at home plate, and by cutting off the ball and getting thrown out at second, you're assured that the run is going to score.
And Shaw did get in to put the Red Sox back in the lead 4-3.
It looked like it was going to be very close, so when I saw Butterfield waving him on, this may be a close play. Benintendi did the right thing by going to second base.
So 4 RBIs the last couple of nights for the rookie. Starting to become a clutch guy. Swinging a fly ball right field, but Betts right there. That'll set down Davis. David Price needs a 1-2-3 really fast inning in the worst way.
Yeah, he really does, you know, to get momentum going. As you mentioned, Dave, he has not had a 1-2-3 inning. That time he tied up Davis with a pitch inside. Stayed away from his power.
Machado perfect tonight, 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, and has scored a run. He had not had a hit in the series until tonight. Trumbo on deck. Red Sox 4 and the Orioles 3 in the 5th. That's going to be strike 1. Price trying to win for the 17th time, trying to go 17-8. To center. Jackie Bradley in. 2 up and 2 down.
Well, so far, Dave, Price has given you what you're looking for. A couple of quick outs here in the 5th.
Go after Trumbo now, who has struck out and grounded out. Last time Price faced the Orioles was on September 12th. The Red Sox routed Baltimore 12-2. He pitched very well, though. 8 innings, 2 runs, 8 hits. Been tougher for him here tonight. But he is back in the lead. And a ground ball to left side. Holt digs it and gets it. They breeze through that inning. That's only 7 pitches to get those 3 outs. The Massachusetts Highway Safety Division, distracted driving and speeding are leading causes of crashes, especially in work zones. Whenever you see orange cones in the road, be alert and please slow down. The people who work there and their families will thank you. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien, Garen Austin back with you as Tommy Hunter is on the bump for the 6th inning, and the Red Sox have a 4-3 lead. By the way, we recounted, and Price didn't need 7 pitches to get 3 outs. He needed only 5. And breezed through the inning. Pedroia tonight has gone 0 for 2 with a walk. He'll be followed by Holt and then Betts. In there for a strike. Dustin started the ball game hitting .322. The 0-2 coming. He had a notion. He held off it. been so much talk about the great year that Mookie has had and the great year that David Ortiz has had. Kind of lost in it statistically is the success of Dustin Pedroia. He's on a pace for 203 hits. To the shortstop, Hardy with a big bounder and gets him. One man out. Red Sox season ticket holders, you can experience the best seats, price, and benefits Fenway has to offer. For information on becoming a season ticket holder, visit redsox.com/season tickets or call 877 Red Sox 9 today. One out. Brock Holt next. 1 for 3 tonight with a single. He's playing shortstop tonight. Xander Bogaerts will be back in there tomorrow in game 1 against Tampa Bay. Jerry, we talked a lot about the crowds here in Baltimore. A lot of people have been, but they will be a lot smaller over the weekend at Tropicana Field.
Well, it'll be mostly Red Sox fans. That's for sure. Red Sox always draw a pretty good number down in Tampa Bay, but you're right. They're going to be very, very small crowds.
Yeah, Florida's such a big football state. 0-1 coming. Swatted at and missed by Brock Holt. College football in the NFL, full tilt. And playoff baseball right around the corner.
Yeah, it's really a great time of year. A lot going on.
Red Sox with a 5-game lead coming into play tonight. A dive and a miss by Scope, and that'll be another base hit for Brock Holt to take the turn, but content with a single. His second tonight.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about this run the Red Sox have had. You know, we talked about guys getting days off, and tonight Bogaerts off to start the ball game. Holt comes in. He's got 2 hits in the game. The dive right there by Jonathan Scope, but he can't get to it and knock it down. So that brings Betts to the plate with 1 out.
Red Sox delighted. Brock Holt is back, away for a couple of days because of a family matter. Brings up Mookie Betts now. Is not made an out tonight. A single and 2 walks for Mookie.
And 4 steals on the season for Holt. He's been caught 3 times.
What do you think? Do you put a play on here?
I don't think so. No, not with Mookie at the plate and Ortiz on deck.
108 RBIs for Betts. Runner holding and across for a called strike.
That's just me. I would be very conservative with these 2 guys coming to the plate in this situation.
2 of your 3 100 RBI men for the Red Sox. Jackie Bradley with an outside chance to join them. Ground ball right at Hardy to Scope. That's 1, and they turn the double play. That retires the side. Nothing doing in the 6th for the Red Sox. They're on top 4-3. Loyalty program. It's how Dunkin' shows big time appreciation to loyal fans with great offers and perks. Enroll today at ddperks.com or on the Dunkin' mobile app. The Red Sox run on Dunkin'. Last half of the 6th inning, Red Sox ahead 4-3 in Baltimore, looking for a 4-game sweep. This kid has been troubled. The rookie out of Winter Haven, Florida, Mancini, ripped a 3-run homer to tie the game in the 3rd inning. His 2nd home run in this series. And he lines that one to right. That's going to be a fair ball. Down into the corner. Betts has to go and get it. Into second base, a double for Mancini. He's finding major league pitching to be all right with him.
That's the 2nd time he's beat Price on changeups. It was a changeup for the home run, a high changeup. Here we see a changeup again. This time it's away, and he just goes with the pitch to the opposite field, down into that corner again for the leadoff double here in the 6th inning. I continue to be impressed with what I see from Mancini.
2 extra base hits tonight. Brings up Jonathan Scope, who has flied out and grounded out 0 for 2. Makes him 4 for 19 against Price. But that's the tying run at second base with nobody out. It has been a struggle for Price, except for the last inning, when he got the 1-2-3 on 5 pitches.
Change up that time, a 92-mile-an-hour fastball up and in on Scope.
That's Donnie Hart, the lefty. We've seen him a couple of times in the series. He's warming up again. Mancini leading away from second, and the 0-1 cut on and missed. Again 92 to make it 0-2. So the Red Sox have handed Price a couple of leads tonight. Remember, he's coming off a shaky effort against the Yankees. 6 innings, 5 runs, and a no decision. In the 3rd inning, a couple of singles and the 3-run homer got him. Looking to put away Scope. The 0-2. He got a piece of it.
Staying with the fastball again. That's 3 straight fastballs now to Scope. 2 of them up in the zone.
This is typically a very good time of the year for the left-hander Price. He's a career 23-7 in September. He's in front 0-2 on Scope with Mancini at second, and it's trickled foul backward. Of course, the last 3 games of the regular season are back home at Fenway on September 30th and October 1 and 2. Season ends on October 2nd against Toronto. Red Sox in great shape to be playing beyond that with this 5-game lead, and now Price will step off the rubber.
He's having a tough time getting on the same page here with Leon, with the man at second base.
The 2-strike pitch again, and again he fouls it away.
Basically, he has stayed fastball after fastball too to Jonathan Scope.
Scope was in a pretty deep slump when this series got underway, but he's starting to swing it much better. 2 for 4 last night. He had been 4 for 11 coming into game 4. Once again, a very deliberate tempo by Price, really taking a long time. And still can't get together with Sandy Leon.
No, it's a number of different set of signs that Leon has put down. Again, a shake off by Price. Now Leon's going to find out what in the world do you want to throw.
Crowd getting antsy here. They're not alone. Red Sox up 4-3 here in the last half of the 6th inning. And a tying run at second base with nobody out for the Orioles. The Red Sox can pull this one out and get the sweep. They will improve to 89 and 64. Hardy on deck. See if Price and Leon are together on this one. They are. The 0-2. A crack bat roller to third base. The runner will hold at second. Shaw throws to get him. And Mancini stays at second base. One man out. Time for a game break. Brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Here's TC. Tom, thank you very much. There's that wild card. Blue Jays in the lead spot. Of course, 2 make it. At the moment, the Orioles are in, but as Tom said, if the Tigers sweep, they could wind up in front of the Orioles tonight. Here's Hardy. He's gone 1 for 2 with a base hit. He had a fractured shin early in the season, so he missed a chunk of time, and they missed him. Very, very good defensively. He's won a Gold Glove. He can hit for power. The 1-0. He lets it go, and it's through there for a strike.
Yeah, back to more fastballs here for David Price in this inning. All fastballs to Scope after the changeup was hit for a double by Mancini.
Price has knocked off the Orioles twice this season. He's 2-1 against them, a 3.67 ERA for the year. 1-1 coming. Now he's in front on Hardy with Stubbs on deck.
A cut fastball that time, down and in. Very difficult pitch to make contact on. See the ball late. The late cut on it, going down and in on Hardy, and missed it by quite a bit.
Price can win his 8th consecutive decision tonight. 1-2. Fly into center, racing out. Brock Hope, Bradley coming on. Jackie, a routine play for him. And there are 2 down. Stubbs next. If you live outside New England, you can catch NESN's 2 David Ortiz documentaries on DirecTV, Dish, UVerse, Bright House, Frontier, Time Warner, and Fios. These works presented by Foxwoods Resort Casino. Check NESN.com/national for channel listings and availability. Looking forward to that second documentary about Big Papi. First one was a big hit. Now Price has had trouble with this guy tonight. Stubbs hitting .250 with a couple of home runs, but Price has been really careful with him, and he's walked him twice. Does have 2 out here. And fouled away off to the right.
Yeah, it is interesting. He came in the game at .364, hit a career against David Price, and Price just walked him twice in this one. Now he gets him with a man in scoring position.
In the 7th, the Red Sox will have due up Ortiz, Ramirez, and Shaw against the Oriole bullpen. Chris Tillman only lasted an inning and 2/3 tonight. He did not have it from get-go. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. That's fired in there for a called strike at 93. You're right. He's going fastball heavy in this inning.
Yeah, after that changeup to Mancini that was hit for a double, he has basically stayed with the fastball.
0-2 on Stubbs. Price trying to get him for the first time tonight. Oh-2 inside.
Trying to get him to chase that cut fastball inside. It looks like it might be an inside corner pitch and then breaks in. But no bite that time from Stubbs.
The left-hander checks his runner and the 1-2. Fastball inside. 95, but not a strike.
He was going for it right there. He wanted that fastball inside corner. He got it inside at 95. Is velocity-wise the hardest pitch he's thrown tonight.
Joseph would be next. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. A man at second. That's the tying run. And Price finally ready. He got him. He struck him out swinging. Made a big pitch on Stubbs there and freezes that runner at second base. Presented by Foxwoods Resort Casino will premiere at the 2nd annual Globe Docs Film Festival. That's during Hub Week, Wednesday at 7 at Fenway. For tickets, go to globe.com/Ortiz. You can also catch the debut on Nesson that same night after the Red Sox-Yankees game. Big Papi tonight with a couple of walks. One of those coming with the bases loaded to pick up his 122nd RBI. He'll be taking on a left-hander Donnie Hart coming out of the bullpen to face David here to begin the 7th inning with the Red Sox in front 4-3. And in 18 appearances, he's been very tough. David driving in a run in the 2nd inning by taking ball 4. And that gave him the record for RBIs in his last season. in any player's final season of 122 as he passed shoeless Joe Jackson, drove in 121 runs way back in 1920. The records just keep pouring in for David. And Hart with a 1-0 to David. 1-1.
A little tough to pick up there, dropping down to the side. He throws that breaking ball, a slider to the outside part of the plate. As a left-handed hitter, you just hope he makes a mistake inside with it.
The 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss.
A little bit like that, except that ball was down and out of the strike zone.
David taking aim at Utah Street with that swing. And a 1-2. And a ground ball into the shift. Scope and shallow right. Will put him away. One gone here in the 7th inning. Stay tuned for Red Sox Final, presented by Plain Ridge Park Casino. TC, Tim Wakefield, and Steve Lyons have an update on the playoff races in the American League. Red Sox leading this one 4-3 as they bid for the 8th consecutive victory. Hanley Ramirez has gone 1 for 3. He drove in a run, very first run of the ball game, with a single in the 1st inning. Since then, he has popped up and struck out. Shaw will follow him. He takes that one for ball 1. Hanley sitting out last night, bit of a sore shoulder. He's had some other aches and pains. Red Sox roll to a 5-1 victory nonetheless. And he's contributed tonight. That's a cross for strike. Hanley Ramirez is really going to miss David Ortiz. He's not going to be alone, but we're talking about a guy that Hanley calls my big brother. That one missing outside for a ball to make it 2-1.
Yeah, they both at home at Fenway Park, locker next to each other. And it's always a familiar sight when you walk in the clubhouse. You stay down in that left-hand corner, and there's Ortiz and Ramirez.
2-1 coming. That finds the mark for a called strike. You've been going in that clubhouse every day for David's entire career. And it's just going to be strange not to see him there, to feel his presence in that clubhouse anymore. 2-2, hammer to right field, high and deep. That one headed for the wall, rising up, and that baby is out of here. How about Hanley going to the opposite field for a home run to make it 5-3? That is some power. 29 home runs. He drives in his 2nd run of the ball game.
If you're Buck Showalter right now, you're really upset because, you know, you make the move to the left-hander. You got Ortiz and Shaw coming up, followed by Bradley. And you say the one guy you don't want to have hurt you in this situation is the right-handed Ramirez. Well, what does Hanley do? He goes other way for the home run. Set up away, pitch away, Hanley going the other way. What a nice piece of hitting that was by Ramirez.
Number 29. And the beat goes on for Hanley Ramirez. Sox with a 5-3 lead, and Shaw the batter. Speedway proud to be New England's first choice for value and convenience. For every Red Sox home run this season, Speedway donates to Boston Children's Hospital. Stop by a Speedway near you and pick up your free Speedy Rewards card and start earning points today. Breaking ball in there for a strike on Travis.
You know, Dave, you were talking about it earlier in the ballgame about Ramirez and the fact that, you know, it hasn't been the type of year where he's going up and tried to hit home runs. You know, they were slow to come in the first half of the season, but you knew they were going to come, especially if he kept the same approach. He has kept the same approach, and the power's been added to his game.
And the RBIs continue to climb and climb. 109 already, a new career high for Hanley. Spectacular second half. Helping out David Price. David over there to congratulate him. Here comes the 1-2. A wave and a miss, and Shaw is retired on strikes. He fans for the second time tonight. 2 gone.
That's almost not fair right there. Lefty against lefty, and you throw a slider to the outside part of the plate like that. That is very difficult from his arm angle to make contact with.
We're in the 7th. 5-3 Boston. Red Sox closing in on an 8th consecutive victory. Back-to-back 4-game sweeps. Still a lot of work to be done tonight, but would love to take that 8-game winning streak on to Tampa Bay and the weekend series against the Rays and gain more ground in the division. That's Michael Gibbons, the right-hander, starting to loosen. And the 0-1 from Hart. Fastball in there for a strike. Now Jackie tonight with a triple and a run. He's also grounded to the pitcher and struck out. He drove a triple down the right field line and would later score on the base hit by Sandy Leon. The Red Sox got 2 in the second inning to take a 3-0 lead. Baltimore fought back and tied it up on a home run by Mancini, and now the Red Sox have gone back in front 5-3.
After that fastball inside, let's see if he goes back to the breaking ball down and away from Bradley.
The 1-2 home. He got him. Out number 3, but Hanley strikes again to the opposite field to make it 5-3 Red Sox. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. BuyAToyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. Digital Federal Credit Union. See what DCU can save you. And by the 2017 Kia Sportage. Visit anykiadealers.com to learn more. Red Sox in the lead here. 5-3. Price's pitching line brought to you by Ace Ticket through 6. It's been up and down. He's walked a couple. It's up to 89 pitches. Best inning was the 5th inning when he needed only 5 pitches to get them 1, 2, 3. Just about every inning he's been on the verge of giving up a run. So far he's allowed 3 runs on 6 hits. Joseph Tips that one foul. He has grounded out and struck out tonight.
It's a classic example of a real good pitcher fighting his way through a ball game, willing his way through it. Not the best stuff that David Price has ever had tonight.
It may be good enough in the end to sweep the Orioles. Jones on deck, and then Davis. A pop-up on the right side. Play for Hanley Ramirez. And there to catch it for the out. Let's get down to Garrett Austin.
Well, LB, Hanley Ramirez is not the only person who is going to miss David Ortiz. I was talking with Adam Jones the other day, and he said he's played his entire career against David Ortiz in the Red Sox lineup. He said, as an opponent, I'm not going to miss him crushing balls over my head, but as a fan of his and as a fan of the game, I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss the character that he brings to the game of baseball and the lives he's touched on and off the field. Jones said he earned the name Big Papi for a reason, and he's really lived up to it. Guys?
Yeah, that's a mutual admiration society because David really likes Adam Jones, and he's followed his career since the very beginning. They become pals. Jones tonight 0 for 3. He's popped up, grounded out, and flied out.
It just seems to me that Price has gone with more and more fastballs here through the last couple of innings.
Davis would be next. Bases empty and one down. Bottom of the 7th. 5-3 Boston. David pitching with the initials TW on his cap tonight. We talked about this earlier. Terry Wantalangzi, great friend of his, a former roommate, who passed away on Saturday. Complications from a brain tumor. He'd been fighting for several years. So Saturday, a very, very tough day for David. When he learned of Terry's passing just 4 hours before the start, the 0-2, he jammed him there. Trying to pick up his 17th win of the season here tonight. He can be 17-8 with the victory. Jones 28 homers, 82 RBIs, another very solid year for the leadoff man. The 0-2. Tried to sneak it inside, but he missed. The Orioles beginning play tonight with a 1-game lead for that second wild card spot, but the Detroit Tigers, if they sweep the doubleheader against Minnesota, they're winning in game 2. They won game 1. They're going to jump past them if the Orioles fall to the Red Sox. 1-2 coming. Right by everybody to make it 2-2.
And there he tries the changeup again, and the changeup really has not been there for him tonight.
And that's been unusual.
Yeah, it really has. You know, he's really working this game without the benefit of one of his major weapons.
And against a tough lineup. Matt Barnes up in the pen. And next pitch, number 97 for Price. Could be working his last inning of the game. The 2-2. Cut on and missed. Leon has to gather that and get him on the throw to complete the strikeout. That is out number 2.
Well, just as we talk about the changeup not being there, that was the changeup that Adam Jones chased right there for the strikeout.
5 for Price. Tomorrow at 6, don't miss Red Sox first pitch, presented by Joseph Abboud, available at Men's Warehouse. TC, Dennis Eckersley, and Steve Lyons will have an update on the American League playoff races.
It's one of the few changeups that he's been able to get down in the zone tonight. Actually down and out of the zone that time. Got the chase.
Base is empty for Davis, who is 1 for 3 with a single. He scored a run in the 3rd inning. That's when they got all of their runs on the home run by Mancini. And for the Red Sox, come the 8th inning, it'll be Leon, Benintendi, and Pedroia due up against the Oriole bullpen, which has been in the game since the 2nd inning. The 1-0. Popped him up over second base. Shaw is over on that side and behind the bag will make the catch. Good inning for Price. He gets him 1, 2, 3. Xfinity, Price through 7, and he may be done. A gutsy performance because he certainly hasn't had his grade A stuff, but he's gotten through it. Hanley with another home run. And Tillman knocked out after an inning and 2/3. He just did not have much of anything tonight. Red Sox took advantage early on, so we go to the 8th inning. Sox ahead 5-3. Leon, Benintendi, and Pedroia facing the left-hander. Sandy with an RBI hit back in the 2nd inning, a single. And snapped it 0 for 17. Red Sox closing in on 8 straight wins. The 7 in a row they've won is a season high. Opening up a 5-game lead with 10 to play, which includes tonight's game, and that one grounded foul. So if the Sox win tonight, the best they'll be able to have is a 5.5-game lead over idle Toronto with 9 left. Koji loosening up in the pen. He's become the 8th inning man. And a 2-1 to Sandy. Popped up back toward the netting, but that's going to go over the screen.
Yeah, Toronto making their way back from the West Coast yesterday or last night,
where they lost a heartbreaker in extra innings to Seattle. It's a game the Mariners had to have for any chance in the wild card race. Hard with a 2-2. High and tight, knocks him down. A little chin music.
Leon diving into the ball, and that ball got under his chin in a hurry. It's a guy like this that throws from the side. You kind of thinking middle out. Instead, that ball way up and in on Leon, and down it goes.
A full count on Leon. 8th inning, Sox up by 2. Just announced the attendance here tonight at 26,788, so the biggest crowd of the series, and by quite a bit. Three-two coming to the shortstop, and Hardy, little off target and safe. That pulled Davis off the bag. Should have been a routine out, but Hardy will be charged with an error.
Now that is very rare to see J.J. Hardy make a misfire to first base. Has to go to his right a couple of steps over the top throw, and will pull Davis off that first base bag. Clearly off the first base bag was Davis, and that is a very rare misfire by J.J. Hardy.
They have played a sloppy series, made 3 errors last night, and a gigantic error by their first baseman Davis. Those of you just joining us, we welcome you here to Camden Yards, where the Red Sox have a 5-3 lead in the 8th inning. One of those runs on a home run by Hanley Ramirez, a bunt drop down by Benintendi. The pitcher Hart will throw to get him, and down to second Sandy Leon. Red Sox trying to churn out another run and get some more breathing room tonight.
Yeah, well done by Benintendi right there. As he facing the left-hander, he gets himself in a very good bunting position to get that ball down the first base line. The reason you want to go down the first base line is because they have to hold that runner on.
Well, Buck Showalter makes another pitching move. He goes out to the hill. That's all for the left-hander. With Pedroia coming up, he wants Givens, the right-hander. We'll take the break as well. With one down in the top of the 8th and a man in scoring position, Red Sox ahead 5-3 in Baltimore. And we'll have more in a moment. Red Sox ahead 5-3 here in the 8th inning and threatening to get another run. Pedroia, the batter, to take on Michael Givens. And Petey tonight is 0 for 3 with a walk. Givens, the right-hander, leading the Oriole relief staff with 89 strikeouts. He's also tied for 3rd in the majors among relief pitchers with 8 victories at 8-2. Brock Holt on deck. Leon at second. On the infield, a pitcher with a backhand took a look behind him. He'll sling it on to first to get the out. Leon down to third base with 2 away. Let's get down to Garrett Austin.
OB, in his final season, David Ortiz is still one of the top hitters in baseball, and now you can get free text alerts to let you know every time he is coming up to bat, along with advance notice of his farewell celebrations on the road and special Poppy programs coming up on NESN. Just text Poppy to 536-536. All this made possible by buyatoyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. Message and data rates may apply. OB, back to you.
Okay, Garen, here's Brock Holt with a man at third base, 2 down. Brock returning to the lineup tonight, and he's produced a couple of hits. Looking for an RBI right here. He's singled in the second, singled again in the sixth. Five runs, 8 hits for Boston, 3 runs, just 6 hits for the Orioles. Koji still warming in the bullpen. So it appears that David Price is done and in line for the victory, which would be 8 in a row for the lefty should he get it. And 8 in a row for the Red Sox overall. 2-0 is in there for a strike.
It's pretty nasty stuff from Givens. He just kind of slings that ball up the home plate. That time a changeup at 84 miles an hour.
Mookie Betts on deck. And the 2-1 is downstairs. One thing the Red Sox have really done an exceptional job of tonight is working both the starter and the relievers for the Orioles. A lot of deep counts. Sox have taken a lot of walks as well. Here's the 3-1. That's pounded in there at 96.
It's almost like Brock, who's seen so many off-speed pitches, was not expecting the fastball on the 3-1 count.
Mookie Betts has walked a couple of times tonight. He would be next. Leone at third, the 3-2. And he fouls it back to the screen. Baltimore with a hard-throwing bullpen. They have not been able to get to Britton in the series. That one is flicked foul out of play. Another guy in the Cy Young conversation. Their left-handed closer, Zach Britton, who recorded his 45th consecutive save on Sunday. 45 for 45.
Well, you know things are going good when you have not seen Zach Britton in the series.
Darn right. Red Sox going for 4 straight here. 3-2 again, fouled away. And a victory for the Red Sox tonight would push Baltimore 7 games back. You see just how tight those guys are, as we talked about it earlier. Big brother relationship. David Ortiz with Hanley. Fly down the left field line, but foul by Brock Holt. Going to really find it bad here. He's had a number of them tonight.
Yeah, a lot of pitches seen here by Brock Holt. A lot of off-speed pitches early in the bat. Last couple fastballs.
Sandy Leone at third base. Led off the inning reaching on an error by the shortstop. He was bunted over by Benintendi, and then Pedroia's ground ball moved him to third. Holt's trying to bring him in.
Another good foul ball by Holt. That was pretty nasty. Fastball outside corner. Flicks it foul.
Long look in, now the 3-2 from the righty. Spoiled another one. That one 95.
11 pitch at bat.
So does Givens have the pitch to get out Brock Holt? That's the question now. 2 down.
Back to the fastball inside.
Fouled off again. Quite a battle here. And Joseph out for conversation. Time to keep it moving moment brought to you by Old Dominion.
Well, Benintendi with a base hit, and he'll get caught in a rundown to make sure that run scores. That was earlier in the ball game, obviously. Hanley going to the opposite field for the home run. His 29th of the season. And then David Price, who really had to work hard in this game, picks up a couple of strikeouts.
Another one fouled away. Old Dominion helping the world keep promises.
This is like taking foul ball practice for Brock Holt. Let's see how many foul balls I can hit in a row.
The next pitch will be the 14th pitch of this at bat. Leone at third with 2 down, and the 3-2 again. And he pops him up this time. And Hardy drifting into left, called off by Stubbs. Long at bat. He's a little tired. We go to the last half of the 8th. Red Sox 5 and Baltimore 3. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. In Baltimore, bottom of the 8th coming your way. Red Sox ahead 5-3. And it's Koji time. Koji Uehara will take over for David Price, who went the first 7. He can win it. Price can be 17-8. He scattered 6 hits, struck out 5. As Jerry said, he didn't have necessarily his best stuff tonight, but it was a gutsy effort.
It certainly was. Interesting outing for David Price. You know, it looked like for the most part tonight didn't have a good changeup. It was a changeup that was hit for a home run. It looked like he decided to go with mostly fastballs over the last couple of innings, which were very effective for him, but he had to work really hard in this game.
It'll be Machado, Trumbo, and Mancini, so a very tough part of the order here against Koji. Machado to begin the bottom of the 8th, and he'll take ball 1 tonight. A pair of singles. He's also flied out to center. David Price with 5 strikeouts tonight. Here's the 1-0, and it dips in there for a strike.
Back-to-back split-fingered fastballs from Koji.
Trumbo next. Koji used 12 pitches to retire Davis, Machado, and Trumbo in order in the 8th inning on Tuesday here. Another strike. And since coming back off the DL, he has been superb. The entire Red Sox bullpen has been outstanding in the month of September. Could not get him to go after that split. Two, bloop foul out of play. Tomorrow at 6:30, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live presented by DCU. TC, Dennis Eckersley, Steve Lyons will preview the Red Sox next series against the Rays. DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? Koji thinking strikeout. And a ground ball instead. Nice play by Shaw behind the bag. Long throw. Got it. Very smooth by Travis Shaw.
Really, really nice. That ball was hit hard, and Shaw with quick reactions down at third base saves a double. Backhanded play very quickly back to his feet, and a strike to Ramirez. The guy was leaning to his left and then had to quickly adjust to go back to his right to make the play on the ground ball. Koji loves it.
One out now. Trumbo. There's a rocket, but he hooks it foul. He was too quick on that one and pulled it. And the dad with the baby comes up with a souvenir for the little one.
Don't drop the baby, please.
No.
For a baseball.
A Sox fan. And a Sox fan. Will some extra to carry home. And that's going to be a strike over the inside corner, and quickly 0-2 on Trumbo. Red Sox will meet the Rays 3 times over the weekend, including Rick Porcello pitching on Saturday. Going for win number 22. Then it'll be off to New York for the last time. Fouled back by Trumbo. Trumbo in the series 2 for 15 and has not hit a home run. One out. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Down he goes on an 85-mile-an-hour fastball elevated.
It continues to amaze me, you know, how Koji gets outs on fastballs. I mean, you're always thinking about that split-fingered fastball, and there's 85 elevated and chased by Trumbo. I mean, you're so conscious of that off-speed split-fingered fastball that he can get the fastball by you.
Don't miss Dining Playbook every Saturday morning at 9 on Nelson. Billy and Jenny take you on a journey at the intersection of where sports and dining meet. Brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers.
Sorry to hold you up on that big promo there.
I'm glad you were able to get that in.
I didn't really have that much to say. I was just kind of saying some stuff.
The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss by Mancini. I like your stuff. Good stuff tonight.
Yeah.
Mancini's had a big night with a 3-run homer and a double. He's gone 2 for 3. But quickly in the hole, and Koji trying to finish him off, and that's up and in and got him. He got hit by the pitch. Tried to check his swing, and he gets hit. So he's aboard for the 3rd time.
Koji trying to do the same thing here, go upstairs with the fastball. Instead, it's right on the wrist. And that is the last thing Louis Hara wanted to do in that situation, bring the potential tying run to the plate.
Yeah, now it's Jonathan Schoop, who has belted 24 homers. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Just a 2-run lead for the Red Sox here in the 8th. Koji trying to be the bridge to Kimbrel here in Baltimore. A wave and a miss for strike 1.
Back to the splitter, down in the zone. And another one.
The 0-1. High fly, but foul.
That was a dangerous one right there. That split did not go down where they wanted it. It stayed in a good hitting position, but out in front of it was Schoop. Ooh, that's dangerous right there.
Caught a lot of the plate. Kind of a spinner that hung up there.
Yeah. Off speed enough for his profile.
So the count 0-2.
Going to elevate again with the fastball.
He got him. He struck him out. I don't know how he does it, but 85 miles an hour, and he blows away Scope. And the Red Sox still have the lead, 5-3. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. To the ninth inning, Red Sox ahead 5-3. Zach Britton had not appeared in this series until now. Their closer, the All-Star, who's been magnificent this year, 45 for 45, a minuscule ERA of 0.59. They need to get him some work, even though they're losing at the moment. Betts, Ortiz, Ramirez. And the three he'll face. Mookie with a single, 2 walks, and he's been doubled up. And Kimbrel throwing in the bullpen. And looking for a save to lock this one up and send the Red Sox to Tropicana Field with an 8-game winning streak. They do appeal. And a strike. 1-2 the count on Mookie.
This guy's got one of the hardest sinkers in the league. I mean, he is really, really tough.
He's the only qualifying reliever in the majors with a 100% save percentage. Rolled foul. CVS Health is a proud supporter of Stand Up to Cancer. Now through October 1st, you can support innovative cancer research by making a donation at CVS pharmacy locations, or you can donate online at cvs.com/SU2C. One-two to Mookie. Downstairs at 95.
As you mentioned, well rested, has not worked in this series. Plus, Showalter wants to keep this a 2-run ball game and at least give his team a chance in the bottom of the ninth.
And a lefty with a 2-2 to the MVP candidate, who is 5 stolen bases away from a 30-30, 100 RBI, 100 run, 200 hit season.
Other than that, Mookie has not done very much this season.
Underwhelming. Some year. 3-2. High fly ball left center. No carry on that. Jones is in. One man away in the Red Sox ninth. And here comes David Ortiz for the last time at Camden Yards. Red Sox fans and Oriole fans standing around the ballpark. So unless they meet in postseason play, this is it for David in this ballpark, it would appear. Liner into left field sinking, and that'll drop down for a base hit. So David aboard for the third time tonight, 2 walks and a single. Now, if the Red Sox win this ball game in 9 innings, that'll be his final at bat here.
There's no reason to wait around either if you're a lefty facing Britain. I mean, first strike you see, you might as well take a swing at it because they just get nastier after that. That ball away, and Ortiz takes it to the opposite field for the line drive base hit.
So Big Papi aboard in front of Hanley Ramirez, who's had another good night. He's driven in 2 runs, a single and a home run, a homer to right field. That'll be strike 1. He is 2 for 4. 61 RBIs since the All-Star break for Hanley, tops in baseball. The 0-1. Back to his home run cut back in the 7th inning.
Well, Hanley going to the opposite field against the left-hander. And up over the scoreboard for the home run, number 29 on the season for Ramirez.
1-1 ground ball to third, and Machado fires into second for 1 on to first, and not in time. So Hanley becomes the runner at first base as Ortiz is erased in the middle. And Chris Young will be called on to pinch hit for Travis Shaw as David gets another big hand. And another goodbye, another farewell for Big Papi. Base hit here in the 9th inning. David receiving another $10,000 foundation check in the pregame ceremony. And he did pick up an RBI tonight as well, number 122, with a bases loaded walk in the 2nd. So here comes Chris Young with 2 down, and Ramirez the runner at first base. We are in the 9th. Red Sox ahead 5-3. Get expert emergency care without leaving the ballpark at Fenway at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, the first aid station. That's behind section 12 on the lower concourse. Visit bidmc.org. And a 1-0 pitch to Young. Been a very hot hitter. To third again. Machado goes the short way for out number 3. That'll do it for the Red Sox. Kimbrel on next. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Red Sox trying to win their 8th consecutive game. Red Sox. Hill taking over at third base, and Kimbrel is on to do the pitching and close this one out. Bob's Discount Furniture is going to bat for the Jimmy Fund again this year. Bob will donate $1,000 to the Jimmy Fund for every game saved. Everybody saves at Bob's, the only choice for untouchable furniture value. Available in store at mybobs.com. So the Red Sox 3 outs away from an 8th consecutive victory and back-to-back 4-game sweeps, which you just don't see in the big leagues. You can save it for David Price, who would go to 17-8, and he would win his 8th consecutive decision. And Hardy, the first man in here in the bottom of the 9th. And it is in there at 95 for strike 1. Hyun-Soo Kim is in the on-deck circle. You would hit for Stubbs. And Kimbrel with the 0-1. Got a piece of it. Quickly 0-2. And tonight for the Red Sox, Mookie Betts on base 3 times. David Ortiz on base 3 times. Hanley Ramirez with 2 RBIs, including a home run. Jackie Bradley had a key triple. Andrew Benintendi with another RBI hit tonight. Red Sox getting contributions everywhere. The 0-2.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
How is that not a strike?
Oh.
Goodness. Mark Wegner said no.
This had a lot of the plate.
One of the better pitches thrown tonight by anybody. No reaction from Kimbrel. 1-2. High pop down the right field line. Betts cruising over near the stands, but off into the seats. Red Sox in the lead here in the last half of the 9th inning, 5-3. This would be a huge hurt put on this Baltimore team. This will drop them, if the Red Sox win it, to 7 games out. And all their attention is probably already turned to the wild card race, given what the Red Sox have done against them in this series. Down he goes. A hack and a miss on a 95-mile-an-hour Swiftie for out number 1.
Now, you know, Jackie Bradley was in center field trying to call timeout. There was a ball loose on the field. Instead, the timeout is ignored, and Kimbrel picks up the strikeout on the high fastball. Look at Jackie in center field. This is after he realized it was too late. But he was crossing his arms out there because there was a ball loose on the field. He was trying to stop play.
Here's Hyun-Soo Kim hitting .304 with 4 home runs. And he slices that foul for strike 1. Kimbrel looking to pick up his 29th save. Koji working the 8th inning with 2 strikeouts. Kimbrel striking out the leadoff man here in the 9th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Red Sox are about to fly to Florida to take on the Tampa Bay Rays for a 3-game series, as Wieters has appeared in the on-deck area. The 1-1. Tried to hold up. He did not. A swing and a miss. 1-2.
You get a lot of that against Kimbrel because he throws so hard. You got to be geared up for that fastball. Then he throws the breaking ball, and it's hard to control the barrel of the bat.
Red Sox continue to whittle down that magic number to win the division. Right now it's at 6. 1-2. Oh, that one ate him alive. Down he goes.
Yeah, no chance.
No chance. Back-to-back strikeouts by Kimbrel, and they're 2 away.
back to the breaking ball again, and you know you got the fastball in the back of your mind, and what a silly looking swing that was by Kim. And I'm not saying that to be fresh, it's just that Kimball can make you look silly.
Red Sox relievers have struck out 4 of the last 5 hitters for the Orioles. And now Wieters at 235 with 14 home runs. David Ortiz about to say goodbye to Camden Yards, which has been very good to him over the years. However, the saddest guy to leave when he gets on the bus in the Red Sox party is going to be one Mookie Betts, because he can't hit anymore at Camden Yards this year unless they meet in postseason play. High fly into center, that should do it. Jackie Bradley underneath it, and the Red Sox have won 8 consecutive games. They are absolutely rolling, and now have a 5.5 game lead over idle Toronto with 9 games left to play. And it is on to Tampa Bay. The Red Sox winners tonight, TC, 5-3 the final.